What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker Podcast. I'm Nick Baker. Across from me, Shane Good.
Hey, yo.
And we're here to talk to you about some video games.
Hell yeah.
Just a quick reminder, check us out on Apple Music. Google Music, Apple Podcasts.
Hell yeah.
And our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, comment.
Yep.
Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Tell
Hit
Spotify
that
they
bell.
suck.
Exactly. So, without further ado, let's get into what we've been playing this week. What's up, man?
Alright, dude. I fell off, man. I know it. I fell off a little bit. I'm ashamed. I did not really get to play barely any Final Fantasy this week.
Hey, man, it happens. I didn't play any this week either.
I don't feel as bad.
Yeah.
My games of choice have been Path of Exile, because I scrapped... I know this isn't going to mean anything to you. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to say it anyways.
Tuning in.
I scrapped my my build. I respec'd into a Death Opus build. So now I'm going Ice Shot, which has a shotgun radius of like each bolt doing 2020 damage buffed and like 180,000 damage not buffed. So easy way to explain it is shoots 5 shots, each one of those do around 200,000 damage. So I'm roughly around 1 million damage if all the shots hit the target.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
Is this game crossplay?
I wish it was.
Yeah, because I did see it on the console store.
Yeah.
And,
it will
I was like, I need to see what this is all about, but I need some players to play with. And
this
I
game
know
is
Shane would play,
hard to play by yourself if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I figured.
It will be crossplay next year. From rumors say it will be
I
crossplay
will be
next year.
so far behind.
Well, no, because every 3 months they start a new league and everybody starts from the beginning.
Well, damn. All right.
So you just have to join up on that other league. I've been also though. I've learned how to completely do engine swaps in Car Mechanic 2018 simulator.
That's a hell of a game, man.
That's actually a really fun game.
Teaching you a lot of shit.
But most importantly, and we'll talk about it a little later, playing League of Legends to get myself ready for Teamfight Tactics. Yet again, go grab that a little bit later anyways. Actually, should we... Nah, I'll just mention it afterwards.
Yeah, no,
I know
exactly
it wasn't
what
here.
you mean. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean.
But I mean, what have you been playing?
Like I said... like we said, we haven't been really playing any Final Fantasy, so I haven't really played much this week. I got to play a little bit of Battlefield 5 Firestorm, though, and they haven't fixed the looting, which is absolutely insane.
I like how you knew I was going to go right for it.
But at the same time, the gameplay is just so tight and fun. Like Battlefield... That control scheme and that speed of play is so up my alley that I jump back in and I'm right back where I was. I played a little bit of Conquest too, and I had some really good games playing on there.
Did you check out the new maps by chance?
I didn't actually get to play any of the new maps.
Gotcha.
We kind of were just on a rotation. And,
yeah.
I didn't join a server for just that map, but doing real great. I'm thinking about actually being my first game that I'm going to stream. So
okay.
I'll update obviously the channel and you on that later, but gonna need a capture card first, but
unless you got a PC.
No. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my gaming this week. I quickly went into Final Fantasy to do something. I think I did one dungeon, but literally nothing after that. So it was like a 15-minute stint. I was just exhausted from the day and didn't get to play anything more than that.
Totally get that.
But yeah, Battlefield was super fun, man. I'm totally gonna jump back in. We got my trip to Texas tomorrow.
Hell yeah!
So we're coming at you from the past.
Yeah,
we're recording on Tuesday. We mentioned this last week. We're recording on Tuesday for our podcast release on Friday, so we're gonna miss a few things the next few days, I'm sure.
Yes,
but
we'll miss a couple.
We got a little bit of a rigmarole here, so without any further ado and any more rambling about Battlefield, big topics of the week, we're gonna talk about AMD Ryzen 3000 CPUs.
Damn straight.
And that is your wheelhouse, my friend, so go ahead, take it away.
Alright, so I mean, Yet again, not super exciting for anybody not PC, so I'll have to suck this part up. I'm just
PC
playing.
guys, tune the fuck in.
Yeah, PC,
we're
tune
about
it up.
to get real nerdy up in here.
Alright, so AMD Ryzen 3000 series released July 7th. Technically, they released July 8th, but let's not talk about that. They released July 7th, July 8th, whatever you want to call it. Time zone changes made it so in the US it released July 8th, from what I understand.
Release dates nowadays are just ridiculous anyway, so.
Yeah, so I guess the couple that we want to talk about is specifically the, I believe it is the Ryzen 9 3000 series, which puts out a staggering amount of power for the price point that it has. I've got up here with me, just for references, I've got some benchmarks that I'm sure that's really all people are here for, if they're even here for anything.
Exactly.
So, we're talking the i9 versus the Ryzen 9 3000 series. So the new i9, which is a 9K series, the i9 900 is looking at, let's see, let's find a game that actually makes sense for this to run against. How about this one? I like this right here. When was the last time you played Far Cry 5?
Well, I mean, pretty early this year, right? When did that come out? February?
February. So, Far Cry 5, pretty good game, pretty good graphics. I think this is probably a pretty good comparison-wise. Just kind of as like a graphics point. So the average frames per second that they were able to achieve. Also, all of these are in the top 99 percentile of the test. But the bench test for the i9, which is the best tester for this, is 153 frames. So we're looking to go up to 153 frames. The new 3000 series was only able to achieve 143 frames. So it's 10 frames less, going up against a processor that's already been out for a few months. So that extra time to kind of even scoop in it, but it goes to show that, like, depending on the game, it really matters, because if you go to something like Final Fantasy 7? No. Gosh darn it, the newest one. Which
15.
one was it? 15,
right?
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a hard time reading those super numerals.
Yeah, no worries.
Something like Final Fantasy 15, pretty much all of the i7 and i9 processors outperform the Ryzen 9 processor, to the point where most of them are almost the top 6 of them are able to achieve over 170 frames per second.
Wow, that game, it's like milk and honey.
Exactly. The Ryzen, the brand new, the monster, $750 out of the box, is sitting at a whopping 169.7. So it wasn't even able to achieve it.
What's the big selling point here? What does this graphics card do better than the others?
So it's processor.
Processor, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
You know,
So,
I'm an idiot. So.
It's fine. It's fine. So basically, the idea of the whole kind of thing is Intel kind of runs the system. They run the processor market, if you think about it. The only two people that are making processors right now are Intel and AMD. Those are the only two companies. Out of the entire world, those are the only two companies that are strong enough to compete in the market for processing right now. Right. Everybody else uses a variation of their processors. Some of them use off-brand, kind of like it's made by them, we slap this sticker on it, but they all use the information that they have kind of created and the resources that they've generated from kind of doing it. So Intel has had the kind of the upper hand in the industry for the past 15 years. I think just as a whole, before AMD really even showed up to kind of try and make a fight, and they've just kind of run this monopoly where nobody's even been able to come close to them. And Ryzen 9 is kind of, or was supposed to be like the break point where the tables will turn, and Ryzen 9 will kind of be able to push back against Intel's i9. And it is able to, but it's just not putting the numbers out that people really wanted. Not for gaming. For gaming, it just isn't as good as people wanted for the price that you're paying. It's like $200 cheaper, something like that. But for workstation, Ryzen has put out an incredibly good processor. If you're doing workstation work and stuff like that, just in general, the amount of processing that it can do. The i9, don't quote me on it, I believe the i9 is a 24-core processor. You can get 24, 18 cores. The Ryzen 9 3K series, I'd have to find it in the reference paper, but it comes in a 8-core, 16-core configuration, and it is I believe it is multi-threaded, so even though you have 8 physical cores, you have 16, it's exactly how it is. It comes in it just comes in 16. So it just comes in 16, which is hyper-threaded for 32. So you have 16 physical cores that are hyper-threaded for 32 cores. So it's kind of if you're looking for things that can handle multiprocessing, the Ryzen processor is just so good. But right now, video games just aren't at the point where they can use 8 processors and distribute all of the weight between them, so parallel processing just isn't where it needs to be to really be efficient for this type of stuff. We're definitely, we're getting there, but it's interesting to see kind of what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, it is interesting to hear the comparisons, seeing that the older CPUs are actually performing a little bit better in gaming. But so what you're saying is, like, as far as multitasking, like editing and doing this and doing that, this
workstation
Ryzen CPU is head and shoulders above, or are we talking just like minuscule amounts? And you said that this series is going to be cheaper than previous series?
Yeah, so like this series is cheaper than the i9. I don't know the exact price of the i9. I know that the brand new AMD prices are $750. So if you're looking for like the Ryzen 9 top shelf, this is it. You're talking $750, and that's with a overclock speed of 4.7 gigahertz, which is like 10 years ago that would be like it wouldn't even be achievable,
right,
like in thought. So we've come ridiculously far there. But even some of the cheaper, like if you go bottom shelf Ryzen 3, the 3000 series is $99. And that's so far below the i3, which is like a 4-core processor. It's just a 4-core physical processor. And this is a 4 cores, 4-threaded, so it's hyper-threaded, so it's 8 cores. It's 4 physical and then 4 hyper-threaded cores. For $99, that's like...
That seems like an
it's
unbelievable
insane deal. Like number. It's like a really good number.
Right.
So the lower numbers are like the lower end processors they match up and they over-exceed what their competitor is doing. But you start going up the scale, and Intel has just put so much into these little processors that they have that it's hard to beat them. So if you're, I guess the conclusion would be, if you're going on the little end, probably all the way up to like the 8000, I think, the 3700, which is a $320 processor, that's 8 cores physical, 8 cores hyper-threaded, so you're talking 16 total cores. For $330, that's better than an i7 like Black Edition with 8 physical cores. Like that processor it's super good. It will game better than like most of the things that you're going up against, but it's not top tier. It's not people that are building, $3,000 machines.
Right.
And that's kind of, not everybody does that. So if you're into that, definitely check out that 3000 series. Those cheaper cores, and I believe they are an M5 socket. I'd have to actually read into it, but I know the previous series was an M3 socket, which means I believe this one is an M5 socket. It's just a socket that goes like on the motherboard.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so because this motherboard series that's coming out is different than the previous generations. I think it's every 2 generations they make it so that you have to buy a new motherboard. It's kind of just how it works. Intel is kind of the same way. Intel, you'd be surprised if you don't have to buy a new motherboard every time you look at the computer. I do have an Intel computer though, so I guess shame on me.
Damn, dude, my brain hurts a little bit after that conversation. So how about a palate cleanser?
Yeah.
This is an interesting little story that came out, and I think it was yesterday.
Yup.
Or early this morning. So have you ever played Super Monkey Ball?
I've played. What did Shay say? Super Monkey Square or something like that?
Yeah, Super Monkey Cube or something.
Super Monkey Cube, yes. Super Monkey Octagon.
Yeah, so Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD is coming to practically all consoles. I didn't see whether or not it comes to PC or not.
It never comes to PC. It's a Sega game.
It's coming on October 29th. I guess this one was released on some previous consoles, and now it's just getting an HD coat of paint. Okay. A bunch of new levels. Crazy integration, and I think, man, the Super Monkey Ball games, I played my first one, I think, was on the GameCube. It might have been the very first one ever. I'm not quite sure.
I think it was on the GameCube first.
Maybe there was one on N64, but I don't know. Super Monkey Ball is actually a really great and fun party game, and
yeah.
I actually can't wait for this. It's coming just in time for that, like, really cold season. You kind of get indoors, you get a bunch of friends around, you can play this game. It sounds like a lot of fun.
I wonder if it'll run 16 cores well.
Man, those monkeys would be moving. I'm not gonna lie. They would be moving.
They would definitely be moving. Definitely gonna look forward to this one though. That actually this whole like just jumping back to like couch games. Like, yeah. I'm really enjoying this couch game.
It's the serious nostalgia of like those first next gen consoles.
Yeah.
That man, it's just so cool seeing all of those cool old games like the Spyros and Crash Bandicoots getting like a nice coat of new paint and getting thrown back into the limelight, and people actually really loving that and feeding money to them and promoting more. Sure. Unfortunately, this means we get games like Medieval coming out in October.
Yeah.
That game looks like hot trash, but I will play it. Anyway, so Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, look forward to that. Also on the list here, we have a little bit of a news drop. Our friend Paul, a Pokemon extraordinaire, Professor Oak himself, he's been really frustrated, along with a lot of other Pokemon fans out there, that they're not including all of the I think like 800, 900 Pokemon in the new game.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, come on. A whole roster. Get out of here. So they're not including every single one in the new game, Sword and Shield. And I guess there was an old interview that kind of sheds light onto why, and it just popped up again, reminding people as to why that these Pokemon aren't included. And it's that they're not reusing any of the 3D models from the 3DS. They had to start from scratch, and they went on to say, I think Matsuda said, this was taken from a snippet from Joseph Knoop's article on IGN, if that's how you say your name, sorry bro. The 3D models that they were going to tear from the 3DS games, it was going to be too difficult to bring them forward to the new engine that they were using on the Switch. So now they had to start from scratch with all the Pokemon that they had from games previous, and they also had to create the new models for the new Pokemon, which when you're making a new game, it kind of makes sense to do that. Yeah. If you're bringing models up, sometimes it doesn't quite, I mean, they look too similar, and you don't get that feeling of like a new game.
Yeah, I totally get that.
So hopefully this kind of quells a little bit of the fury of the Pokemon fans out there, because it has been a shit show out there.
Yeah, it hasn't been specifically good. I mean, just really quick before we jump off this one, because I know we're headed that direction.
Yeah, we're about to dive off this one.
Hard, off the diving board straight. Yep. Just real quick, how the fuck do you move a 3D model if it's all 2D art? All right, now that we got that out of the way,
the 3DS models that they had were actually 3D, so they could have, in some conceivable way, brought them forward. But the resolution alone would probably be just the biggest deal.
Yeah,
to,
I could see
really
that.
up it, and then you're practically remaking the models anyway because you have to shine them with a whole new coat of paint. Fix this coloration.
Probably
just
that easier at that point, literally, to just be like, man, it's not worth it.
The screen on the Switch, and not to mention the ability to play the games on TV. Mm-hmm. Those models are going to be blown up to even way big. Like, I have a 55-inch TV. That's my little 3DS screen's this big. That model is meant to be on that screen. You're going to blow that up. You're going to have to really do some fine-tuning to make that look good.
Going to look like you're playing on an N64.
I, for one, am still very excited for these new Pokemon games, and I'm going to buy them day one, but...
Dude, first Pokemon game you'll ever be able to play on your TV, unless you were me and just emulated them on your TV when you were a kid.
Hell yeah. So anyway, moving on from that, I wanted to let's just do this first. There's a few games coming out this month that I'm pretty excited for. A few that are kind of interesting, but we just threw a little bit of a list together because we're gonna be off for a little while. We're gonna be late recording next time, probably a few days anyway. So we just wanted to mention a few of the games that are coming out. Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I'm totally going to play. That looks super great.
Pretty fucking dope.
Dragon Quest Builders 2. Mm-hmm. That game looks like a hell of a lot better Minecraft. Beyond Two Souls is finally getting a PC release. It was a PlayStation exclusive before, so that's really interesting that they're doing that.
It is interesting.
Gives hope to the hopeless that maybe Spider-Man will finally come to PC eventually.
I'm not crossing my fingers on that one. I don't think it'll happen, but maybe.
Neither am I. So anyway, two more. The Wolfenstein Youngbloods. If you're a Wolfenstein fan, it looks like more Wolfenstein craziness with some co-op flair. It's going to be a hell of a good time. I
think that game will be pretty deep.
Yeah, I think I might try and get Ben in on playing some co-op for that.
Yeah, man.
Because he loves those Wolfenstein games. And then the final one is Kill la Kill, the fighting game for the anime, is coming out. And, probably right in that wheelhouse of anime fighting games. They're pretty similar across the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Switch one, so we'll see. We'll see what comes from it.
So...
Oh, really quick before we jump on.
All right.
We didn't put it on this list. Good spot to place it, though. Teamfight Tactics releasing 2 days. It's going to be ranked. Meet you on the battlefield. 8 vs. 8. Let's go. All right.
Ranked.
Had to throw that in there.
So, anyway.
Super excited about it.
Moving on. Game of the year so far. Everybody's been talking about their Game of the Year so far. I kind of wanted to do it a little bit differently. A few people have actually done it this way, but I noticed that you didn't really have any games that you've been playing that have come out this year consistently and have been your games to go for. Definitely. And really neither have I. So
here we are.
I want to do two things. I want to first talk about maybe a game that you've played a lot that has come out this year. And also talk about the game of this year for you, like what you've been putting your time into, what you've been playing. I think I already know the answer, but at the same time,
I wonder.
I think that there's a few interesting topics that we can get into on that note. So
for sure,
I'll kick it off. So my game of the year for this year, I have to say, is Kingdom Hearts 3. Mm-hmm. One of the only real new titles that I have played other than Days Gone. Man, I had waited for this game for so long, along with everybody else that's a Kingdom Hearts fan. The graphics were insanely good. The story was convoluted and messy, just like the rest of them, but it kind of brought back that like nostalgia of early 2000s me, just ripping through those Disney worlds and having such a fun, exciting time. And man, the way that it all came to a close, it kind of left a bittersweet taste in your mouth. Mm-hmm. Not spoiling anything, but Kingdom Hearts 3 was a really special one for me, just because I had grown up with the games before Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I didn't really get too far into any of the handheld versions until they came out in the collections, and I tried them out. A few of them were pretty good. Birth by Sleep being probably the better one. But yeah, what they were able to do, it really shows that Square Enix is in a really great place right now. And moving forward with Final Fantasy VII Remake and everything else that they have going on, their E3 press conference was one of the best I've seen from a third-party developer in a long time, really. And
their conference was pretty dope, actually.
Man, it just goes to show that even as weird and as strange and unorthodox of a pairing that Final Fantasy and Disney are, that anybody can come together and make something great as long as there's heart and there's drive to do it. And
definitely heart and drive behind that game. Yeah. So many fans if there wasn't, the fans would just rip that game to shreds, man.
Yeah, and I think there were a few thousand fans that were pretty. The thoughts were divided on the game, and I can see why. And I have my own thoughts about it as well in the negative direction, but I want to really just focus on the positive because it is really one of the generation-defining games as far as I'm concerned, just by sheer art style direction. It doesn't blow your mind just looking at any given screenshot of the game, but it just is so smooth and everything is so tight, and the game was put together in such a way that there really aren't many hitches or giddy ups, glitches here or there. It's so finely tuned that from beginning to end you can have a solid experience without anything getting in your way, and that's why it's one of my games of the year, and it's my game of the year so far. We'll see by the end of the year if that changes. We'll definitely.
Cyberpunk is around the corner.
Man, Cyberpunk's coming next year.
Oh, I thought that was December.
No, I wish. God, that'd be awesome.
I was gonna say
sooner the better, but it's April, I believe, next year. So,
yeah.
What is coming later this year?
There's something big coming later this year that I thought we were looking forward to.
There's Pokemon, obviously, but I don't think that's going to be Game of the Year.
Pokemon's always a fun experience, but I don't think it deserves a Game of the Year spot.
No, Call of Duty too, but no.
Yeah.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That
actually might.
If they stick to the Metroidvania-y stuff that they seem to be showing in all the trailers, that would be super awesome. Metroid Prime was one of my favorite games on the GameCube, and that the way that they told a story without even really telling a story in that, through exploration and upgrades and going back to places you've been, if Star Wars does that, you're gonna have quite the hit on your hands, EA.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Kingdom Hearts 3 Game of the Year so far this year. I think that the game that has come out previously that I played the most and had the most fun with this year and finally beat, it was Persona 5.
Yeah, it's definitely Persona 5.
So Persona 5 is such a great classic JRPG experience.
Quite the handful, though.
And man, is it long. But the experience I had with it, I will never forget, just simply because we just don't get games like that very often. You don't get 130 or 140 or however many hours you really want to put into it games often.
It's definitely it's, in my personal opinion, I've watched Deborah play probably 30 hours of it while I've just been sitting there on the couch on my phone or something like that, where she's been playing it. And it's definitely watching it is... the game's just so interesting. You can literally watch the game be played, and it will hold your attention because it's just so in depth and very you have to do this so you can be able to do this to grab this. The JRPG-ness of that game is just so clean.
Yeah, and the soundtrack alone is just something to stay for hours and hours. I mean, people all over the globe have been raving about the Persona 5 soundtrack, and I haven't really played any of the Persona games before, but I imagine that they are just as high quality as this, and playing Persona 5 makes me want to go back and play all those old Persona games, and that's something that I think makes a game super special, is if you're that deep into a franchise and somebody new like me comes in and plays and is like, wow, this game is fan-fucking-tastic. I want to go back and I want to see where this game came from. That's a gold star for me.
For sure.
So, what about you, man?
All right, man. So, let's do the game of the year so far for me. New releases, I will say...
Game of the year so far.
I would say probably Red Dead Redemption 2. It's the only new game that I played this year. So...
Hell yeah, dude.
So it takes the spot, mostly because it's the only new game of the year that I played. However, I did have a lot of fun playing it. I didn't beat the entire campaign, due to the fact that it's only on console right now, and me and my wife share the TV, so it's hard for me to just be like, hey, go just watch me play video games, because I'm in the living room all day. Have fun doing nothing.
Because that's, like, her thing to do.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So, like, and it's a good game. I really liked it. I haven't gotten to the online part of it, but the actual story, I really like the way that they told the story that I've seen so far, and I like the gameplay itself is super... It's very... So what I'm looking for, it's not glitchy, if you know what I mean. Like, it's very put together.
Yeah, the Rockstar is so good at making a game. Well, I mean, there are glitches here and there. You see them all over online, but they're good at making a game that if you don't go looking for the seams, you'll never see them.
Exactly.
Like, if you follow that game from A to B, you're gonna have a great time. I played that game. I beat it within launch window, and I couldn't put it down. That game told such a compelling story from the boots of Arthur Morgan that from beginning to end I was just enthralled in everything that he did, whether it be bathing or going out hunting a bear or fighting for your life against outlaws. It's such a tight, fun experience, and a lot of people had the gripes that it's a slow pace and that this and that.
It's a story.
Yeah, it's something that's meant to be experienced at the pace that they intend it to be. And I think that is really why the game shines. It gives you a different experience than I've really ever played before. It's something that spoon feeds you nice and slow, this gorgeous environment and these wonderful, crazy characters and these interesting, unbelievable experiences that you just roll up to on your horseback and are just randomly happening in the world, and you're like, what in the hell is this game right now?
Super, super good. Not to, like, jump off topic too far, but really quick. Speaking of Rockstar themes, GTA 4.
Okay. Oh, we're stepping back that far.
A little bit.
Right.
Breaking game, like, super great game. Xbox 360 exclusive. That was, like, their GTA's kind of, like, kick for this console. However, one seam that they actually left in the game for people to discover, fantastic. I don't know if you're familiar with the swing set glitch.
No.
So you could park anything in front of this swing set that would swing back and forth, and it would launch it without physics. Anything. You, a motorcycle, a car, a dump truck. As long as you could figure out how to wedge it into that seat, it would fucking send you flying across the world.
That's amazing.
I had to bring that up because it was like, I spent probably half the time playing that game trying to find new things to shove into that swing set. It was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, man. I remember playing GTA 4 and getting as far as the annoying cousin asking you for rides everywhere.
Roman.
And I was like,
piece of garbage.
I think I'll wait for 5.
Smart choice. Back on topic, though.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my my game released this year that takes my number one spot. However, game that I've put the most time into this year is a surprising game for most people if you listen to this podcast, PoE. Yeah, I know.
What?
Which actually I have a legitimate number too. Somewhere around 310 hours for the year.
Yeah, man, that's more than I've played games at all this year, I think.
Yeah, that's when I get on a PoE kick, it's pretty much like I just breathe Path of Exiles. I could play that game on my sleep as long as I'm not playing like against meta characters.
Yeah.
If I'm playing like an RF, I literally could play that game in my sleep. For people that don't know, an RF character is Righteous Fire. All you do is activate a skill and walk around, and everything around you dies because it's an AoE. You don't do anything else. You literally just walk next to things and they die. But anyways.
Writing that down.
Yeah, right? But that's, yeah, I mean, I talk about PoE so much, it's kind of hard for me to, like, talk about anything in particular.
I feel like we get the idea of why it is your game of the year.
Yeah.
Of your year.
Yeah. It's game of my year because of mostly this past league that they put together. The league that they did before, which was earlier in the year, the Synthesis League, they literally came out, GGG came out and said that this wasn't refined. They came out, they apologized, they said this isn't refined, this isn't what we wanted to do, but we had to put this out. And then they just came out with the Legion League, not even as like an apology, but just as like this is what if you didn't think that was good, play this and you'll see what this game is really about. And this league has just been, I've put over 150 hours into this league alone, and it's 38 days in, or 40 days in. And this league is probably the best league besides like Breach League. And Breach League was like 2.5 years ago, or something like that. So they knew what they wanted. They knew what their people wanted, their community, and they gave them exactly what they wanted. And if people have things to complain about in the Legion League, the solution is just go out and farm, and you'll find what you're looking for eventually, because there's just so many mobs in the game right now. So it's kind of like I don't know. So much mobs, so many things, so much PoE.
Man, we could just have a PoE podcast one of these days. And just let you rip. But for now,
yeah,
I got to get my ass to Texas. So
it's true, you do.
We're going to wrap this up. Make sure that you check our stuff out on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, Podbean if you're into that. We'll put all those links in the description below.
Shit, yeah, we will.
Hope you enjoyed today's episode. We're really starting to kind of fold together as a unit here, and
sure.
I think the next few months of content are really going to be exciting as soon as we get our D&D podcast off the ground, get some more people in on the conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll have some guests and talk about some crazy video game stories, I'm sure. So until next time, peace.